when you would talk to people that you saw that you thought were out there walleye fishing, they were real tight-lipped. It was a secret that there was walleye in Tennessee. And so I was thinking, it's like, how can I was a little selfish, how can I learn to catch more walleye in Tennessee? Well, let's go to social media. And then started scouring social media. Nothing on there, right? And so I was like, well, I see all these walleye groups everywhere else. Let's just make a Tennessee page. And then it was like, everybody started getting on there. And then you start getting the emails and the Facebook messages and stuff where people are like, you need to take this site down. You're ruining the walleye fishing in Tennessee. There's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of fish rolling around these lakes. We're fine. Let's get other people out there interested in these fish because it's amazing table fare,
Indeed.
Walleye, perch, crappie. And that's kind of where I got into it is, just trying to get people to learn and geared more towards walleye. Walleye fishing in Tennessee was just like this huge secret.
The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. We got a great show lined up for you today. We are back at the John Sevier Hunter Education Center outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. Matt Cameron is helping me co-host, and he's lined up some great shows while we've been here, and another great one for you today.
We've had a ball, talked to some great guests, and got a good friend of mine that I met in the field, so I'm stoked to have him on the show today.
Literally, you came across him on a fishing trip,
correct?
Right? And talk to this guy. He knows what he's doing.
He does. It was pretty well apparent that he did at the time. So I'm like I've said before, I'm not a great outdoorsman, but I know a lot of them. So I try to align myself with him and try to learn all I can from him. He's very sharing of his knowledge. So not to get too far into the woods yet. I know you got some shout outs to do on radio stations. So
yeah.
They are our podcast. So.
Well, we're talking about Steve and Paul, so I'll just throw that out. Thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Look forward to talking fishing and hunting with you today. Yes, radio station WCSK 90.3 FM. We appreciate our radio partners, and this station is out of Kingsport. They run our show at 5 a.m. On Saturdays and Sundays, so if you're an early riser going to the woods, tune us in. Tennessee WildCast is on that station, and we appreciate them. That is 90.3 WCSK. So tune us in there, and or follow us on the podcasting app. Follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, wherever you want to find us. We're out there, and we appreciate folks tuning in and listening and watching the show. All right, so Steven, thanks for coming in today, buddy. Big hunter, big fisherman. Right now, you're kind of in the deer woods right now, right? That's your focus right now. And Matt said you hopped out of the truck and you said, "Man, you had like a downer story." We're gonna start with that.
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
And then we'll jump into some of this other stuff. But yes, tell us how your hunting season's going right now.
Well, this weekend, guys, I was up at the Holston Army Ammunition Plant. Lucky enough to get drawn for one of those hunts. They only do 100 hunters a year, and I think they had 1,000 applicants this year. Hunted Sunday morning, and up there it's earn a buck, right? So you got to kill a doe. You got to kill a mature doe before you have a chance of killing one of those big booners they got up there.
And you take it out and check it out, then you go back in the woods.
Yeah, so you drag it out to the road. One of their, volunteers will come by, pick you up, you take it in, they take a jawbone, they age the deer, weigh it, get all the statistics off of it, and then hand you your buck tag, and then you're free to go back out to your stand now. So first thing in the morning, you draw a stand, right? And they've got stands already set up, or they've got locations. So you can tell them, hey, I brought my own stand, I brought my own climber or saddle or hang on, lock on, what have you. And if you do, they say, well, do you want to hunt one of our stands, or do you want to hunt one of the areas that doesn't have a stand that you can put up your own for today? And I was like, well, I'm going to hunt one of those areas. So I reach in the bucket and pull it out, and everyone kind of looks around and says, oh, he got the ballpark, And I was like, well, what's up there? And they said, have you seen that buck running around on social media, haven't you? I said, yeah. He's like, he's running around up there. And I'm telling you, the guys, this is as close as 200 inches you're going to get if you haven't seen it run around. Just kind of look for it. You'll find it.
Wow.
Right. And so I was kind of excited. I was like, yeah, I'm up there. But you got to kill that doe first, right?
Right.
8:30 in the morning, I see a mature doe slipping through. She comes by, had her 17-yard chip shot. I was hunting out of a saddle. And this is where practice with what you wear comes into play, right? Because I've been practicing out of the saddle. I didn't have my bino harness on. So that morning I had my bino harness on, drew back on her, set that pin behind her shoulder, squeezed off my release, and felt my bino harness get slapped at the string. And sent that arrow right over top of that doe. At that point, yeah, buddy, I have never been this sick ever, right? It gets you because deer hunt's deer hunting, You may see 100 deer, you may not see any, but I seen that one that gives me a chance to kill a big buck, and I blew that opportunity.
And the fact that you mentioned this hunt, you can kill the buck then, or you might get invited back, right?
Yeah. You finish out the day hunting for a buck, or if you don't fill your buck tag, you get to come back at a date to be determined, which, this year is going to be early November, and get that chance of filling that buck tag. And even on their bucks, they have it's an 8-point minimum. You can't kill anything less than 8 points. And they've got some absolute booners right up there.
And this Kingsport radio station is perfect because this is near Kingsport, Tennessee, right outside. It's HAAP, and we could go down 100 roads with this, but we want to talk about quality deer management. People talk about East Tennessee doesn't have very many quality buck deer, and we don't by and large, but if managed properly, like Bruce, what's his last name? He manages Holston up there. Great guy.
Yeah.
He's done a fantastic job. If you manage it properly and you get the age and the buck doe ratio correct, you can have monster buck deer in the hills of East Tennessee. And why I really want to harp on this was he got out of the truck talking about being sick. It's like, I missed a doe at 17 yards. I'm like, man, Steve's just eat up with deer hunting. He didn't tell me about the 200-inch non-typical buck that he didn't get the chance to hunt. So it all kind of made sense after he showed me the picture.
Yeah.
So it's a freak.
Yeah, that's awesome. Those guys are doing a great job out there. Bruce, this guy you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's awesome to know there's that many big deer on that property.
And shout out to him. He actually retires this year. He's been there since 1998, and this was his last year holding this hunt because he is moving on, and enjoying the retired life. So, so hopefully whoever comes in after him is able to, build off the foundation he's created and continue that, history or that, that quality of deer that they have up there. So.
Yeah, awesome.
And speaking of Army, my friend here, is a military veteran, injured in duty.
Yeah. So, served 8 years, a little over 8 years, a couple combat tours, Afghanistan, been to Syria, Iraq. But you know what? I miss it every day, and biggest thing that I like to do now is pay it forward, being an outdoorsman, being a conservationist, getting others who haven't had that chance, because having those injuries and seeing other guys that, they're missing part of themselves, whether it's physically or mentally, coming back from, those tours, healing in the outdoors is a big opportunity for a lot of those guys. So I like being able to, help with the outreach and, and I'll give a little shout out to Rally Point Outdoors out of Clarksville, Tennessee, Fort Campbell area. And Matt Wellman's the CEO there, and he does a lot of good work with a lot of veteran organizations. I think he's sending 4 guys to Illinois on a big muzzleloader hunt with Hushin this year. And so, just a lot of things that go on that he does that are getting veterans back out in the outdoors and in that healing space for them. So,
yeah, true to style. Try to give him a pat on the back. He defers any kind of attention to something else in another mission. But thank you for your military service. We appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for your service, and thanks for giving back to those who have been through a lot. And it's amazing what God's creation, how His creation can kind of, bring some healing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being outdoors and enjoying what's out there. So you love to hunt. We're going to dive into fishing today, but you were saying once December 1st rolls around, you're packing up the deer stuff and heading to the duck blind, right?
I didn't grow up duck hunting, right? I got introduced duck hunting the past, several years. And I just never thought that sitting in a duck blind, just hanging out with the guys, eating breakfast could just be so much fun, right? And I've been lucky enough to draw a blind on Dover 2 years in a row now. And so going out there and, TWRA putting on a good area at the Barkley WMA and hunting those blinds and killing ducks. I mean, there's nothing like it. So it has really changed up what I do late in the season. Usually, before duck hunt, I was just kind of transitioning, getting all my fishing gear ready, and moving on. But I've kind of filled that space now. And also just being able to take the kids out, right? Being able to have them in the outdoors. It's hard to take a kid out on a deer stand when it's, 10 degrees outside. It's just cold, right? But you get them in that duck blind with the heater going and your breakfast cooking. I mean, my two boys, they are just ate up with it right now. That's all they want to do is duck hunt. So
too bad we live in the wrong part of the state to do it.
So you say that though, right? But they're out there. We went out during the early teal woody season this year, and we did some really, we had a lot of fun, killed a bunch of ducks, and I'll tell you, we were up in your neck of the woods, up around the White Pine area, and I mean, there's one morning we probably seen 100 wood ducks.
Do have good early wood duck and teal hunt in September.
Yeah.
The late season duck hunting's hit or miss depending on the weather. Here in East Tennessee, you can kill ducks, but I figured out, man, there's a whole lot of investment and time spent for very little reward. That it got to the point where it wasn't worth it to me to put all that work and money into it to continue doing it regularly.
Yeah.
Hunt East Tennessee at all?
Yeah, we still hunt East Tennessee, especially, throughout the week, make a quick run, or, we got a day that we ain't got nothing going on Monday through Friday, and we'll run up, it's one of the WMAs around here, and, I'll tell you, Rankin. We'll run up to Rankin. You guys got a pintail hanging on the wall over there mounted up. We killed a pintail out of Rankin last year.
Heck yeah.
And, but there's other, float the rivers, other WMAs and stuff that you guys can do. Like you said, are we going to go in there and kill limits? No. But you know what? It's a chance to get out there to practice your duck calling, to see what's working, what's not. I mean, there's geese all over too.
Oh, Lord.
And bunch flying over there.
Yeah. And so it's a way to, if you could kill ducks in East Tennessee with the limited amount there are, and then you go out to West Tennessee, it's like, this is too easy,
Yeah.
So
I think that's what ruined me.
So, and that's, we went out to, I went out to Dyersburg a couple years ago on the veterans hunt, one of the veterans weekends that TWRA puts on, and 3 hours, 8 of us limited out. And it was one of those 10-degree mornings, spitting snow. It was miserable, right? Wow. But, I mean, the ducks were flying.
Steve's show, and I'm trying to steal his thunder, but that's what got me interested in duck hunting was when I was 16 up on the Williams farm off of the French Broad River near where the Pigeon River runs in. People local will know what I'm talking about. But there was a low spot in the field. Water would back up into this cornfield. And my dad's buddies took me duck hunting that morning. And I think between the group, we killed 36 ducks that day, and I'm like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in the history of mankind, is duck hunting. I bought everything, and I probably hadn't killed 36 ducks, since then. But it was just one of those mornings where the stars aligned, the weather was bad. We had to scoop ice out, every 30 minutes out of that pothole to keep the decoys floating. And if you can get into a good hot duck hunt, it's probably the funnest thing I've ever done in the outdoors.
It'll lock you in, won't it?
Oh.
Yes.
Like you're saying, I haven't had a day like that since, but I still got the bug. So
yeah, you can't get rid of it, man.
Can't.
Injected into you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, have you grown up doing this your whole life? We haven't really touched on your history, but have you hunted your whole life? Did you grow up learning to hunt and fish?
So, I mean, as soon as I was able to walk, Dad had me running around. I was running trap lines with my grandfather. Grew up hunting, trapping, fishing, just everything, right? And I don't want to say I took a hiatus during my military time, but, the military, it's a job. I deployed 3 times, spent some time in other countries. I was stationed in Colorado for 6 years. Out of that 6 years, though, a lot of it was spent overseas, but being able to come back and enjoy the outdoors out there and get to see things that I wouldn't be able to see here in Tennessee. Mule deer, and I mean, we've got elk here now, so but being able to hear them bugle and stuff in the mountains,
that's cool.
So, but then moving back here and then just picking it right back up, like right back hunting and fishing, and it consumes me, right? And That's if work gets in the way of hunting and fishing, I'll tell you. So,
Yeah, you'd think working for the wildlife agency, you'd be in the woods all the time, but work can get in the way of hunting and fishing.
Yeah, for us, correct.
So, and then you pass it on to your kids. You talk about your boys. I'm sure they love to get out there with you.
oh yeah, they do. Like I said, my son's a senior in high school this year. He's finished up, getting ready to go to college, and he's kind of eased up on the deer hunting. I think it got a little too easy for him, right?
There's guys listening to this like, what are you talking about?
I mean, the kid's lucky. He just walks out. I mean, last year we didn't even make it 20 feet into the woods, and 3 does were standing there staring at him. He's like, "Can I shoot one?" I was like, "Yeah, go ahead, son." And he's like, "All right, can we go home now?" All right, but I mean, every chance he gets, "Dad, can we go duck hunting? Can we go duck hunting? Can we go duck hunting?" I'm like, "Yeah, let's go." Because I never want to discourage them from being in the outdoors and doing what I love. Gives me the chance to spend more quality time with them as well, right? And I've got a 7-year-old right now that, I mean, he is just ate up with it. Squirrel hunting, rabbit, deer. If we ain't hunting, he's like, "Dad, can we go fishing? Can we go fishing? Can we go to the pond?" And it's just like, yeah, let's go. That's going to stick with him that, hey, we went fishing. Let's do it again.
And you made a good point there, going rabbit hunting, small game hunting, pond fishing, things that are low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
For success, I think is important, especially with kids. A lot of kids have been turned off on hunting, period, because their dad took them deer hunting in December and it was cold and they had to sit still and be quiet and all that stuff. And they're like, well, I don't want to do this. We didn't see anything. But if you can do something that's interactive like that, small game hunting and fishing, pond fishing, you can really get a kid hooked.
And one thing I like about it is it's something that I probably wouldn't do anymore by myself.
Yeah.
Would I take the time out to do it? No. I've got other things I've got to do, right? Chores around the house, work, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But taking the kids out makes me fall in love with it all over again. It's like, why did I stop doing this? And the big thing is finding new recipes, and, eating squirrel and rabbit. Because if I had to eat squirrel and rabbit the way I did growing up, I'd never feed it to my kids.
Good point.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of cool Facebook groups and different things out there to find new recipes. And
definitely.
Being members of some of those smoking groups, learn how to smoke your meats and things like that.
Yeah,
man, it's cool. It's fun to experiment. Well, and it's fun to fish and chase walleye too, and that's how you guys met. There's a video out there where y'all got together and did a drop the tailgate on
Correct.
How to catch walleye and different techniques, and I'd love to dive into some of that today. And just how'd you get started in walleye fishing, and how'd the group come about? You created a group on Facebook so people could come together and learn more.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the Speedway area, Claiborne County, Tennessee, and we got the Powell River up there. And back, growing up, our farm was not far off of the Powell River, kind of up near Earl's Holler boat landing, and so we'd go fish the spring all the time for walleye, and I just kind of fell in love with it. My grandparents moved to Ohio, and going up there, that's like the fish in Ohio, right? Lake Erie, that kind of stuff. So going up there, fishing up there. Even when, like I was talking about, stationed in Colorado, big game fish out in Colorado is walleye. So I was able to just kind of stick with that, right? Yeah. So around the areas. And then when I came back to Tennessee, after getting out of the military, I just noticed it was something had changed, right? From when I was a kid until coming back here in 2016, something had changed. Like I just couldn't, the walleye just weren't doing where I thought they would be. And so I started putting those techniques I had learned at Lake Erie out in Colorado, because Lake Erie is not a reservoir. It's not a 250-foot reservoir like we have here in East Tennessee. However, a lot of lakes in Colorado are. So learning those techniques and bringing them back here, I started catching more fish. But then when you would talk to people that you saw that you thought were out there walleye fishing, they were real tight-lipped. It was a secret that there was walleye in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking, it's like, how can I learn? I was a little selfish. How can I learn to catch more walleye in Tennessee? Well, let's go to social media. And then started scouring social media. Nothing on there, right? And so I was like, well, I see all these walleye groups everywhere else. Let's just make a Tennessee page. And then it was like everybody started getting on there. And then then you start getting the emails and the Facebook messages and stuff where people are like, you need to take this site down. You're ruining the walleye fishing in Tennessee, and it's just like, there's hundreds of thousands, if not millions of fish rolling around these lakes. We're fine. Let's get other people out there interested in these fish because it's amazing table fare,
Indeed.
Walleye, perch, crappie, and maybe that's a new secret we'll put out as perch out in Mountain Hill, so, but,
fish for 'em.
But, yeah, so that's kind of where I got into it is, just trying to get people to learn and geared more towards walleye, here in Tennessee. Because, obviously we have Bassmaster Classic, we have bass tournaments, everything that come to East Tennessee all the time, but you don't see the interest in walleye that there is. Like, you can go over to Bass Pro there in Kodak, just outside Sevierville, Gatlinburg, and you're going to find very limited walleye gear.
Yeah.
Right. But you'll find all the bass and crappie gear that you can want. Right. But they started carrying more now that the guys have started asking for and stuff like that. But you go around to a lot of these local bait shops and they're carrying a bunch more walleye stuff because guys are coming in there and just buying it out. Right. And that's what I like to do is like to shop local. I've got a guy who makes all my jigs here that's local to East Tennessee. And that way we keep the community, that money goes back into the community in the area, not necessarily buying everything off of online and getting it shipped in and stuff like that. So, but, so that's where it's just walleye fishing in Tennessee was just like this huge secret, right? And that's what we were up fishing a tournament up at Lake Erie a couple of years back. And a guy was like, "Oh, you guys are out of Knoxville, Tennessee. What do you guys know about walleye?" And I said, "Only that only that the world record comes out of Tennessee." And he kind of looked at me like, "Are you serious?" And
Blows their mind.
He came back to me after everything was done. So I'm like, "Buddy, I did not know that." I'm like, "Yeah."
1960, Mabry Harper. I guess that's how you say her name.
Something like that, yeah.
25 pounds even.
Yeah.
Old Hickory Lake.
Yep.
And they took it home and ate it. I mean, that was
Yeah.
a big fish, but man, that was a lot of food for them folks back then, especially. Have you ever fished Old Hickory? Not to diverge.
Yeah, I fished Old Hickory. I got a buddy who lives out there and around the Nashville area, and he's taking me out there. Did we really target walleye? Not really. We were more after, stripe, the hybrid stripe bass, dry bass, that kind of stuff.
I didn't know if they were still there in big numbers or not.
They're there. It's just, it's tough. You've got to fish the lakes, and a lot of these reservoirs, if you want to target walleye, the easiest place to go is right below the dams, right? And fish those wing dams, fish the dams, and you'll catch a walleye there. Furthest west that right now that I go to deliberately would be Rock Island State Park there on Center Hill Lake.
Yeah.
The spring run there can be really, really good, and I've seen some big fish caught out of there. And there's some old timers there that they tell you stories about. Oh, I've seen them, and are they 20 pounders again? Not really, but if you think about southern states and how many southern states have walleye over 20 pounds, I think Tennessee has 3 walleye that have gone over 20 pounds, right? And you go to those more northern states that are known for walleye, Minnesota, Ohio, Wisconsin, that kind of stuff. They don't have 20 pound. They've never had a 20 pound walleye caught, right? But you come down here into the South where people don't think of walleye, and that's where they come. Arkansas, I think's got 2. Tennessee's got 3. I think Virginia's got a couple, right?
We've got the world record smallmouth bass too, and world record walleye. And John Hammonds, fisheries biologist, says because we're on the southern end of those fishes range, because they're more of a colder water fish, that's why they grow bigger here. They've just got more opportunity during the warm months to get bigger. Of course, that was 1952 maybe when D.L. Hayes caught that world record smallmouth. 1960 when that world record walleye was caught. Will those ever be broken? I don't think so. I think the reservoirs were young and healthy and more productive then. It'd be freaking awesome if somebody caught a 25-plus pound walleye or a 12-pound smallmouth, but man, it hadn't happened in over half a century now.
No, it hasn't. But like you said, can it happen? It can, right? With everything that TWRA has been doing, we've been doing the right things, making sure the invasive species stay out, and just building a good ecosystem for those fish. Will it happen? It's something different.
That's what keeps people going to the lake, right? Is will it happen? talk about, I went fishing with you in the spring in the spawning run, and that's when I targeted them, and a lot of guys were the same way as me. Outside of that, I didn't really walleye fish, and I don't. But you talk about guys catching them all summer in the rivers and stuff. Can you talk about a few more ways people can catch some walleye other than going out during the spawning run?
Yeah, I had a lot of guys reach out to me this year and was talking to me about, their summertime fishing, right? And everyone thinks walleye is a cold water fish, right? And to an extent, I would say they're a cool water fish. You're not going to catch them when it's 80, 90 degree waters. You need to find that cooler water. But a lot of guys were fishing 7 and 8 feet of water, actually, and pulling worm harnesses during June and July. And they were just, they were cleaning up, catching good fish. So having that time and finding those areas, and I'll tell you, Douglas has some areas, the Cherokee Lake has some areas that you get into that shallower water during the summer months and you'll find the fish up there.
You have to move up into the moving water.
Yeah.
You talk.
Yeah. If you're fishing that shallow, you need to be up in the moving, there needs to be current, right? Fish are sitting there. The bait fish have moved up into that cooler, swifter running water, and the walleye have followed them as well. And a worm harness is, as simple as it gets: 6 beads, a Colorado number 4 blade, 2 trailer hooks, and run a night crawler off the back of it. And, you can catch some walleye that way.
Wow.
A lot of guys are, when the alewife spawn, right, fishing nighttime during the summer, throwing some glow lights out, getting the shad to start circling around there. They may be snagging shad or, just dropping, they call them mano lures or jigging spoons, dropping those down, catching walleye that way. So walleye's not a spring, not only a spring time fishing. It's easy because they're congregated. They're all moving up. They're getting ready to spawn, right? But those fish are in the same areas all year long. Not all the fish move down the river system. Not all the fish disperse. So if you're catching them there during the spring, there's a good chance you're going to catch them there during the summer as well. Just got to change your tactics up a little bit.
That's good to hear. You talk about fishing walleye and on Erie and fishing a tournament trail and all that up there, and techniques you learned there, you're bringing them down here and having some success with them.
Yeah. Big thing up there is we think of fishing big baits, right? Walleye. Everyone, the banded. It's a banded walleye. What's it called? It's a crankbait. Deep walleye crankbait is what they call it. And it's a 7.5 inch lure. And a lot of guys think, big baits, they're going to catch big walleye. But you got to kind of match what you're fishing, the bait fish you're fishing as well, right? So knowing that, like up at Lake Erie, we noticed that when the smelt would move in and the fish were moving out east, we were going down, slimming down our bait size, taking our bait profiles a lot smaller into 3 to 4 inch fish, 3 to 4 inch baits versus the 7 to 8 inch baits, and catching a lot bigger fish. So that's what we kind of did, coming down here is matched what, hey, those alewife, those gizzard shad, they're spawning now. Let's move our baits down. Let's go with a smaller profile. And we started, catching the fish that way as well. So
matching up what you're learning, that's, just trying new techniques. That's awesome.
But then he had one closing word he wanted to say. It doesn't involve walleye fishing. What's your word of wisdom you want to share?
Kill more does.
That's right. We've learned at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
One better deer hunting, you could take out some of those does and create that better ratio. That's one way of doing it.
It is.
It's been fun, Stephen. We could have talked for another half hour or two,
at least.
probably. And but we'll have to have you back sometime and maybe get out on the water and do some more fishing.
Absolutely. Love to have you guys.
Appreciate your insight. Thanks for sharing things. Some folks want to keep the tips and tricks to themselves, but thanks for sharing. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anything to help those guys out. So
yeah, definitely. Well, this is Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Keep coming back. Subscribe, like, share, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.